This episode is rated PG-13. That means get your kids out of the room now.
It's now time for Q&A with Jaimetud.
Now, hang on a second here. Hang on. Hold the music. I just want to clarify something for everybody who's watching this show. See, I haven't been doing this show in a long time, and for that I apologize for those people who've been waiting for a new episode, like two of you. But the thing I want to address here is the title of my show. I keep hearing people pronounce it Jaimetud or Jimmy Stud or Blimey-tud, Muddy-tud. I don't know. Let me clarify this, okay? It's Jaimetud. Let me say it again. Jaimetud. 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 I know it's hard because it's a made-up word and all, but that's my handle. So with that out of the way, thank you for watching and enjoy this episode of Jaimetud.
I know a guy who lives his life so easy. He's always bored, so he finds stuff to do. One day he's shopping online for a console. The next he's working out till he turns blue. You never know what he'll come up with next. Bashing the DMT or making the cut. Like many others, he's got dreams of grandeur. He might achieve them if he gets up off his lazy butt. Watching movies, playing games, but to him it's all the same. People tell him he's got skill, he can make an impact still. He lives the life of an average Joe, and for that he don't need to practice. He lives the life of an average Joe, 'cause that's the best for him.
Hey folks, it's me. Yep, it's that time of year again. It's Halloween, and that means I'm gonna stay at home, watch a bunch of scary movies, and try to scare a few trick-or-treaters with this thing. Now, kids love to get scared. Take my childhood, for instance. I look back on my days as a minor, and I remember some things that were pretty darn scary. And now when I look back at them, I say, they're still pretty darn scary. But I love them all the same. So, I actually looked on the internet, and I found out a lot of people share the same memories of the same movies, the same books, except they're always the same things over and over again. So this is a list that's concocted of all things that nobody mentions anymore. The things that are somewhat underrated. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce the top 10...
Excuse me, it's a top 11 things?
Sorry, what was that?
Top 11 things.
Who does a top 11 list?
Don't ask me, I didn't write this.
Okay, the person behind the camera has just notified me that this is going to be a top 11 list of things that frightened me to death as a child and had me coming back for more. So, grab a blanket, pause the video if you have to, and come right back, because this is the top 11 best scares of childhood.
Number 11.
Who is knock? I am knock.
Alright, so I'm going to round out the bottom of this list with lesser scary stuff. At number 11 we have Nag's death from Rikki Tikki Tavi. Back in the 70s, acclaimed animator Chuck Jones started producing shorts for television that were adaptations of older stories. And one of those memorable shorts was this adaptation of Rudyard Kipling's lesser-known Jungle Book character, Rikki Tikki Tavi. For the most part, he's a cute, curious, and mischievous little fellow. But don't let that fool you. Underneath that cute, furry exterior is a snake-killing machine. And who could blame him? Just listen to some of these snakes.
Be careful, I am dead.
They sound like they're possessed by Satan. Is it any wonder why snakes still give me the creeps sometimes? Every time they come on, it's like they totally steal the show. The scary scene in particular is one part where Rikki is out on night patrol defending his territory. Nag the Cobra sneaks into the bathroom, Rikki catches up with him, and it's a fight to the death. But what happens here is interesting. Just watch. was weird. Let's watch that again. First we see Ricky going all Terminator red-eyed on him, then we see him fighting, and then his back slams up against the camera as we hear a gunshot. It's a freaky bit of cinema because we don't actually see Nag get shot, but somehow his flashing backside is enough to communicate that idea to the audience. That, and we see the man holding the gun afterward. Freaky, but that's Nag. He brings a whole new level to the concept of going out with a bang. How scary is it? The Scarometer says, about as scary as a 7-foot-tall basketball player to a 3-year-old.
Nog is everywhere, oh dear, oh dear.
Number 10.
At number 10, we have the intro to Escape from Witch Mountain. Again, this movie isn't scary at all. It's just another happy-go-lucky family film about 2 kids who happen to be aliens with superpowers. But it's this silhouetted, Bond-inspired introduction that always stood out in my memory. All we see are the figures of our 2 heroes, Tony and Tia, as they run in slow motion from the animated Hounds, the Baskervilles here. It's very surreal and ghastly, and it casts a creepy shadow over the rest of the movie. But you know something funny I noticed? It's all recycled animation from Bambi.
Love is a song that never ends. Life may be swift and fleeting. Hope may die, yet love's beautiful music comes each day like the dawn. Love is a song that never ends.
That's not just a coincidence. So what's with this scene anyway? Well, it actually foreshadows a scene in the movie where the 2 kids actually get chased down by the same dogs. But let's take a look at how the actual movie deals with it.
Dogs, stay. Stay. Good dogs. Now there's some very bad men after us. Go get them.
Yeah, that was solved a little too easily. Thank God for random alien powers. How scary is it? The Scarometer says, about as scary as going to your high school reunion and finding out that no one has changed.
Number 9.
And now we have another introduction. This time from Ernest Scared Stupid. Yes, sir. As a kid, I got scared by an Ernest movie. You know, for a family-oriented comedy that was part of the many dozen Ernest movies that were made when I was a kid, this one was actually pretty dark. Ernest wakes up an ancient troll from slumber, and next thing you know, it goes around town turning little kids into wooden dolls so he can use their energy to grow more trolls? Yeah, turning kids into dolls, that's pretty darn creepy. And look at the troll himself. That dude is no joke.
That was spooky. Yeah.
But for some reason, the movie itself didn't really scare me. Oh no. Like I said, it was this introduction. All these old black and white movie clips. Now, I realize that this is supposed to be funny because we keep seeing Ernest freaking out overreactively, but for some reason as a kid, I just had an extreme phobia of black and white movies. If they didn't have the Marx Brothers or Abbott and Costello, they were either boring or scary. There was just no in between, especially when it came to monster movies. Nowadays, this intro gives me the good laugh it was always supposed to. But back then, if Ernest could be scared stupid, so could I.
Oh my, I'm afraid.
How scary is it? About as scary as Obama introducing another stimulus package. Oh, come on. Somebody's gotta crack Obama jokes.
Number 8.
Scrooge.
Really?
Creepy. At number 8, we have Jacob Marley's Ghost from Scrooge. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute. This is a Christmas carol. It's supposed to be a fun and happy Christmas tale, right? Wrong. There are actually 2 scenes in A Christmas Carol that are always deliberately meant to be scary. Those scenes are Jacob Marley's Ghost and The Ghost of Christmas Future. And as we've just seen, nobody puts on Jacob Marley quite like Sir Alec Guinness. This movie was great. It was a bright, happy musical with Albert Finney playing Scrooge and music by Leslie Bricusse. But then comes Jacob Marley. The thing that makes Alec Guinness's performance here stand out is that he's very subtle in his delivery. He might be warning his former partner that he's going to join him in hell in the afterlife, but deep down, you know he's loving it. He even gets another ghost to ride through the house in a chariot just to mess with him.
Merry Christmas, Governor. Merry Christmas.
But the biggest head trip of all is when the windows fly open and... Oh no. Oh no, I don't want to see this part again. No!
See the phantoms filling the sky around you. They astound you.
No, Marley, please don't do poetry. You scare me when you do poetry. Oh god, no!
Be yours. It was a dream.
Phew, that scene's over. How scary is it? About as scary as opening up your Christmas presents and finding nothing but socks.
Number 7.
Jennifer Davis, it's Mr. Boogedy. Get out of my house!
Bride of Boogedy. Now, I feel that this one needs a little bit of explanation. Not just because most of you watching this have never heard of this movie, but because I know my family's going to be watching this show. See, back in the 80s when the Disney Channel was still young, my parents recorded this movie off the TV set, but didn't quite catch all of the opening titles. Particularly the title of the movie. And I guess they didn't know what else to call it except Mr. Boogedy, because that's what the name of the movie's lead villain was. But in reality, Mr. Boogedy was made 2 years prior to this movie. And Bride of Boogedy was the sequel. I never did get to see the first film in my childhood, but now thanks to the internet I can watch just about anything. And I gotta say, Mr. Boogedy is one low-budget family flick. It deals with a family that moves into an old house in some random small town that just so happens to be haunted by the ghost of Mr. Boogedy and some other folks. It's less than an hour, so it's not even feature-length, the effects are poor in some parts, some actors aren't even that good, and in some flashback parts, it's obvious that they're filming the movie on some cheap fairy tale looking set with costumes that look like they were bought from some average Halloween store. Well, maybe the villain is scary, right?
Hey, Mr. Boogedy!
I've seen much scarier. This movie is like a crossover between an episode of Goosebumps and Poltergeist. Not that fun and not that scary. But Bride of Boogedy was the real deal. In fact, I really firmly believe that I saw the better movie growing up. It had better acting, better set design, better lighting, better costumes, better locations, and Eugene Levy? Yep, even Jim's dad from American Pie graces this movie with his presence. But what about Boogedy himself? He's gotta be scarier than that last Grim Reaper wannabe.
You can't hide from me, little boys. I'm coming to get you.
Damn! Now that's a bad guy. I was too young to watch Nightmare on Elm Street back in the 80s, but this guy was my Freddy Krueger. I still like this movie, even though it's rare and you have to hunt it down. It's like the first movie was just a warm-up exercise and Bride of Boogedy was the movie they really wanted to make all along. It's got fun characters, good scares, and a good sense of humor that perfectly balances out everything else. Disney, please put this movie on DVD. I guarantee kids would love it.
What a wonderful idea. Oh, I like that.
How scary is it? About as scary as a haunted funhouse ride on a merry-go-round. Yeah, use your imagination.
Boogity boogity boom! Just kidding.
Number 6.
Alright, no more messing around. Time for some serious scariness. Number 6 is Night on Bald Mountain from Fantasia. First time I saw this movie was during its theatrical release in the 90s, and let me tell you that no child should ever be forced to watch this movie in the theater. Everything about this scene is frightening. Think about it. We first see this thing breaking out of a mountain. They say in the movie that it's Satan, but it turns out it's actually Chernabog, the demon of Slavonic mythology. Unrelated, I'm sure. Anyway, this guy basically resurrects the dead, tears open his mountain, and throws himself a little demon party. That's the scene right there, in a nutshell. I find it amazing that this 1940s animation still looks creepy today. And just to add to the freak factor, Chernabog picks up his little demon friends, throws them in the fire, scoops them out, turns them into flaming ladies, turns them into these freak animals, turns them into alien-looking things. Basically, he's brought them back to life to torture them. And look at them, they're dancing around, oh yeah, they're loving it. That's freaky. Everything here is scary, right down to Chernabog's sinister grin. To any child watching this movie, it's like they sat through 2 hours of nearly being bored to death, and then the filmmakers just decided to scare their little pants off at the end of the movie so they never forget it. It's torture. Wait, what am I seeing here? Oh my god. I'm not seeing what I think I'm seeing. Oh no, that can't be. What? Boobs? But that scene is scary. I mean, that's freaking scary. Boobs are supposed to be wonderful things. How did Disney make boobs scary? What's this movie rated? G? You mean to tell me that up until this point in the movie we've seen the extinction of dinosaurs everywhere, we've seen these little naked baby things that fly around, and little known fact, they also cut out a black centaur from this movie because that was considered too controversial, but no, boobs? Let them fly. I once rewatched this movie at my cousin's house on Thanksgiving, and when we were done, we had to go upstairs and eat Thanksgiving dinner, but I couldn't eat my mashed potatoes because I looked down at my plate and all I saw was this. Yeah, I had one messed up imagination. How did they get away with this? Well, it might interest you to know that there's actually an urban legend about the Disney Company. They say that Disney himself once fired a team of animators for slipping an image of a naked woman in a movie for only one frame of film. If there's any truth to that legend, my guess is this is where it started. Night on Bald Mountain. It's a night you'd rather forget. How scary is it? I don't know. Let's take a look at those mashed potato breasts again.
Number 5.
Time for the first book on our list. How about the more macabre creations of Edward Gorey? For those of you who don't know who this guy is, Edward Gorey was a writer, an illustrator, and no, he wasn't a British author either. But you might think that after looking at some of his works. Man, this stuff makes Tim Burton look like strawberry shortcake. Gorey passed away in 2000, leaving behind a legacy of works that spanned across several genres of literature. And this book, Amphigory, is a collection of some of his more renowned works. He wrote many children's books like The Bug Book, The Wuggly Ump, and The Doubtful Guest, which has a film adaptation coming out that I'm anxious to see. Most of the stuff in this book is very dark, dealing with tragic dramas, dark humor, the supernatural, and even light porn. No, I'm not kidding. I wish I was. I would say that his style lent itself to the horror genre, but no. More appropriately, it handed itself over on a silver platter. There were always two of his stories that freaked the hell out of me and had me coming back for more. One of those stories was The West Wing, and no, it's not affiliated with the TV show. I can't really describe this one as a story per se, just a collection of creepy images. I guess they're supposed to be the pictures of the West Wing of some building that's haunted. Even the pictures that don't have anything going on in them just look creepy. Then comes the naked guy, the dead guy, the mummy, the guy out in the rain. Some pictures don't even have anything scary, just something out of place and unsettling, and that's enough to freak you out. Now, chances are if you've ever heard of Edward Gorey before, that's for one reason, and one reason only. Because you've read that one story of stories that breaks the very taboo of children's literature and slays little children left and right. I am, of course, talking about the cult classic, the Gashly Crumb Tinies. If learning the alphabet is hard enough for your child, here's a book that will scar them for life with every letter. It's an alphabet book for children, associating each letter of the alphabet with the name of a small child who died a horrible death. That is messed up. I still get chills just looking at this one. Come on, kids, let's read some. C is for Clara, who wasted away. D is for Desmond, thrown out of a sleigh. Good God, every kid in this story is either about to die, in the process of dying, or is just flat out dead. Jeez, they don't call him Edward Gorey for nothing. I is for Ida, who drowned in the lake. J is for James. Okay. If you know anybody who shares a name with anybody in that book, particularly anybody named James, get to know them first before you show this book to them. How scary is it? Every cautionary tale you've ever heard ain't got nothing on it. Number 4!
There's a ghost on my dresser, she said.
Alvin Schwartz's Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark book series. Here was a series of books aimed at children for the sole purpose of scaring the ever-living daylights out of them. And they did, so I guess Alvin accomplished what he set out to do. But he wasn't alone. Aside from collecting scary stories, urban legends, and sick jokes from around the world, Schwartz's books needed another edge to them, something that would plague young readers' minds for the rest of their lives. That's where the illustrations by Stephen Gammell come into play. For example, let's try reading one of these abominations, shall we? The boy broke loose and ran out of the shop, and Blunt chased after him, waving a big butcher knife. When people saw this, they realized at once what had become of all the missing children, and grown-ups, and kittens and puppies. An angry crowd gathered at the butcher shop. No one knows for sure what happened to Blunt that day. Some say he was fed to his hogs. Others say he was fed to his sausage grinder. But he was never seen again, and neither was his wonderful sausage meat. Yeah, it's actually not all that scary. It's more like a campfire story. But let's see what Stephen Gammell has to offer. I mean, damn! Look at these illustrations. These guys must have been some seriously psychologically messed up individuals. It's like looking at a Rorschach test designed by George Romero. What were they, manic depressed? They put the freak in freakin' scary. When I read these books, there was hardly ever a time where I actually read them. All I had to do was flip through the books and look at the pictures. You can imagine what I must have been like after half an hour.
Did you ever think as a hearse goes by that you will be the next to die? They'll wrap you up in a big white sheet from your head down to your feet. And the worms crawl in and the worms crawl out in your stomach and out your snout, and your eyes fall out and your teeth decay, and that is the
Scary Stories. The title says it all. How scary is it? About as scary as those annoying internet videos that pop up and go,
Number 3.
coming to get you, Barbara.
Man, oh man. I got 5 words. Night of the Living Freaking Dead. Now I know this isn't a family film by any means, but trust me, there is a tendency that this movie seems to have. A tendency to frighten young children at the hands of those trusted family members that force them to watch it. When I was 9 years old, I saw this movie for the first time. But I sure as hell didn't choose it. No. I had a godforsaken family member whose name I probably shouldn't mention because he might actually be watching this show it to me and my siblings. He thought it was such a low-budget horror flick that we'd find it hilarious. Yeah. There is no way in Hell's Kitchen anyone could find that funny. But guess what? I'm not alone. Many families out there have that one sick family member that always likes to show this movie to little kids. And most of the time it's just because they want to watch them squirm. As if watching the Terminator behind their parents' backs wasn't complicating enough for them. I mean, how is this funny? A bunch of people are holed up in this house, surrounded by zombies. They're all going crazy inside, just trying to protect each other. I mean, why would anyone find that funny? I don't see them using that as a selling point. Do you?
Come see Night of the Living Dead. Perfect fun for the whole family. Especially when it comes to terrifying your children. And we've got all the escape precautions taken care of. Your kid moves out of their seat? Don't worry, we'll just pay their sadistic older sibling to pin them down. Kids close their eyes? Don't worry, we've got the headset from A Clockwork Orange all ready for them. But whatever you do, don't forget to bring a spare change of underwear, cause your kid's gonna need it.
Jeez, I still get the creeps just watching this movie. Of course now I totally dig it, but back then, I wasn't having fun. Oh no. Oh no, not this scene. No, not the stabbing. Not the scream. No, this is the scariest scream in movie history. I can't watch. I can't watch. No! Jeez. How did they get that scream? It sounds like they ripped out her vocal cords and strung them up on a violin. Strangely enough, I still hold this movie in high regard. I think it's one of the greatest horror movies ever made, and the fact that it still gives me the creeps after all these years is a true testament to how scary it really is. But still, I will never forget what that one family member did to me. You know who you are, mister! And I will have my vengeance! How scary is it? Scary enough to shake your trust in your own family members. For life.
Number 2.
A terrible thing is coming.
What do you mean?
The field. It's covered with blood.
We got us a tie. Director Martin Rosen's double threat, known as Watership Down and Plague Dogs. Now I confess, I never actually did see these movies when I was a kid, but believe me, I'm glad I didn't. I watched them as an adult, and I thought they were great. But considering that these movies have an international reputation for scaring young children, I had no choice but to put them on this list. Let's start off with Watership Down. First time I saw this movie, I was fresh out of high school. And even then I had to give it some time to grow on me. I mean, how's this for a theme in a kid's movie?
All the world will be your enemy, prince with 1,000 enemies. And whenever they catch you, they will kill you.
That's right. The world is out to kill you. What a perfect message to convey to little kids. The plot revolves around a group of rabbits that try to leave their warren before it gets destroyed to start up another one elsewhere, and the struggles that they go through to survive. What kind of struggles exactly? Something like this.
Our warren, destroyed. Men came, filled in the burrows. Couldn't get out. There was a strange sound. The air turned bad. Runs blocked with dead bodies. Couldn't get out.
For something that's rated PG, they sure did get away with a lot of disturbing imagery. And believe me, it does get much worse. Perhaps that's why I didn't like this movie at first, because, you know, they're a bunch of cute little bunny rabbits, and you expect them to do cute little bunny rabbit things, and then... Yeah, I wasn't quite ready for that. They couldn't have enough blood in this movie, could they? It's like the director just said, "Hey chaps, what's the scene doing here? Let's see. Caught in a snare, choking to death? Not bloody enough. Add some more blood. Jolly good show." Still, I do enjoy this movie now. I think it has a lot of beautiful imagery, likable characters, great animation for its time, and a good story to tell, even if that story might be a little too much for some kids. Now let's take a look at its follow-up. Plague Dogs is almost like a sequel to Watership Down. It's got the same director, some of the same actors, and like Watership Down, it's also based on a novel by Richard Adams. It's just got a completely different set of characters. This time we have two dogs escaping from an animal testing facility, and once rumors hit the fan about bubonic plague testing, these poor, innocent, perfectly healthy dogs are hunted down by every resource that the government can throw at them. Whereas the preachiness in Watership Down was kept to a minimum, Plague Dogs is a downright slam fest of animal treatment, human behavior, politics, and then some. Not a moment goes by where this movie isn't dark. At least Watership Down had some light funny moments, but not in Plague Dogs. No. In fact, let's just try and watch this movie be friendly.
Come on then. That's a good fella.
Oh, look at the cute little doggy. Here, little doggy. Here, little doggy. Here, little doggy. Oh, you look hurt. You look so hungry. Don't worry, we'll take care of you. What? What the... He was such a nice man, and then... boom? What's wrong with this movie? In conclusion, both of these films were great. Neither of them are as scary as Night of the Living Dead, but once you get past the scariest, it's hard to top that. But Night of the Living Dead wasn't aimed at kids. These two movies were, and that's what brings them to the number 2 spot. Watership Down and Plague Dogs. If I had seen them as a small child, you wouldn't have wanted to be there. How scary is it? About as scary as having everyone in your grade school class hunt you down and
kick your butt.
So by now you're probably wondering what the number 1 best scare could be. What could possibly beat out every other scare on this list? No more BS, no crap, no more cheating using movies that I never saw. But first, before I show it to you, you might be a little surprised. But for now, let's have a quick recap. Number 11, Nag's Death. Number 10, Intro to Witch Mountain. Number 9, Ernest Scared Intro. Number 8, Screw. Number 7, Boogity! Number 6, Freak-tasia. Number 5, Edward Gorey. Number 4, I see a big scary man in this ink blot. Number 3, Night of the Living Dead. And I will have my... Number 2, Killer Rabbits and Sick Puppies. And the number 1 best scare of my childhood is...
Number 1!
I've got something for you here. Something I think you'll like.
The Witches. You did not see that one coming, did you? Well, if you'll notice, I said best scare, not scariest scare. How scary is this one? First off, let's say that you're a young child. Then, let's say there's an entire international league of purple-eyed women who want nothing more than to make you disappear off the face of the earth. Yeah, look at these ladies. Is it any surprise to you that some of them are actually played by men? No wonder they wear masks in public. In fact, it's a perfect analogy. I mean, think about it. They put on masks, they go out in public, they lure in little children with candy and other toys and stuff. Yeah, you know what that sounds like. So what kind of horrible things do they do to children? How about trap them in paintings for the remainder of their lives? That's creepy. In fact, it doesn't surprise me at all that Roald Dahl wrote the book it was based on, since many of his books are actually darker than his movie adaptations. Or better yet, how about turning them into mice? Yeah, that's actually not such a bad punishment. Bunch of little cute little miceies, little mousies. Oh, look at them, they're so cute. Well, it's not so cute how they turn into little mousies. Holy God! It's like even family films were trying to outdo John Landis after An American Werewolf in London. In slow motion, it looks like just a rubber mouse head being shaken up and down, but at regular speed, that looks darn scary. Still, this movie wouldn't have been quite what it was without the Grand High Witch being played by Morticia Addams herself, Angelica Houston. She's perfect for the role because she totally becomes the character. She's beautiful on the outside, but exerts her inner hideousness with her delight in doing bad deeds. But let's see what she looks like underneath that mask. Are you related to Nosferatu? Luckily, this movie doesn't get any scarier than that. I mean, come on, it's a kid's movie. You couldn't possibly get any scarier than... So yeah, this movie was a lot of fun. Aside from the more obvious frightening aspects of it, it's very cute, good-natured, adventurous, and personally, it scores a lot of nostalgia points. Oh, and I almost forgot. It also has Mr. Bean, who is apparently very dangerous with a butcher knife. This movie is nowhere near as scary as the other films on this list, but I kinda wanted to leave you all with something that was a little more lighthearted. While this movie doesn't have all the scares that it does have are perfectly balanced out by its magical fantasy fun. And I think that fun should count when describing what a best scare of childhood should be. Lastly, I think it's pertinent to mention that Guillermo del Toro has written up a screenplay to remake this one, hopefully as an animated movie. And whereas Roald Dahl reportedly didn't like the original, his daughter Lucy apparently loves the new screenplay. I mean, whoa! The director of Hellboy and Pan's Labyrinth is going to remake The Witches? Sweet! Will it rock, or will it not hold a candle? I don't know. But I did want to give the original the recognition it deserves before they even begin making the remake. The Witches. If you tell your children not to talk to strangers because they might be kidnapped or something like that, chances are they might not believe you. But if you show them this movie... they'll never talk to another stranger again. How scary is it? About as scary as having your first wet dream and not knowing what happened. Yeah, sorry for that image. And those are my picks for the best scares of childhood. Ooh. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got to go give somebody else a best scare of their childhood.